About 2.5 million years ago, a cat called Smilodon began to evolve, and the very last of its species took its final breath around 10,000 years ago. Throughout its entire existence, this cat remained only on the American continent. On the other hand, humans were enjoying life in Africa about 300,000 years ago. But because of food shortages, around 50,000 to 40,000 years ago, humans started moving out of Africa and slowly reached Europe and Australia. But food was not stable there, so humans kept moving forward. During this same period, because of the Ice Age, sea levels dropped and a land pathway opened between Asia and America, which is called the Bering Land Bridge. Humans followed animals along this route and, while migrating step by step, eventually reached America. And the birds that had flown there thinking humans would never be able to cross the ocean were also shocked. They were like, "These guys even made it here?" Anyway, as soon as humans reached America, it felt like an unlimited open supermarket. Massive animals everywhere. One successful hunt could last for many days, and food was abundant. And this is where humans first came face to face with a cat called Smilodon. Humans were not afraid of any other animals, but just looking at the teeth of this cat made them panic. Because until then, they had never been taught in their old school ways that ghost-like cats like this could even exist on Earth. But if we look closely, there probably wasn't much direct fighting between them, because when humans arrived here, the population of Smilodon was already quite low, which is why they were not seen very often. However, many sources show that during that time, conflicts between humans and Smilodon must have kept happening, because whenever an animal worked hard to bring down a large prey, humans often came in groups, chased the predator away, and stole the food for themselves. But scientists never found large-scale direct evidence of frequent human-Smilodon battles. Still, some scientists accidentally discovered a few pieces of evidence that clearly point toward the fact that humans and Smilodon must have fought many times. And the very first case appears in northern Florida, inside a water-filled sinkhole. When researchers went inside that sinkhole, they found a small cave inside the same water-filled sinkhole, and a skull was discovered inside that small cave. That skull belonged to a Smilodon, and along with it, remains of many other animals were also found inside that cave. Radiocarbon dating of the skull revealed that it was approximately 20,000 years old. But now comes the most interesting part. When scientists tried to find out how exactly this Smilodon died, they discovered that this Smilodon had been killed by a human using a spear. On one side of the skull, they observed a diamond-shaped puncture and deep V-shaped cut marks along its edges. These marks did not look like the natural breakage at all. Instead, they looked exactly like a direct strike from a sharp stone spear or projectile weapon. And to confirm this, when scientists carefully re-examined the sinkhole area, they also found signs of stone tools and bone-made sharp points present there. Now, most people might be thinking this cave must have originally belonged to a Smilodon, or maybe humans were living there and the two came face to face, which is why the human killed it. But in reality, that is not what seems to have happened. Based on scientific conclusions, it was found that remains of many different animals were discovered inside that cave. This led scientists to conclude that this location was actually a kind of natural trap site. In such places, animals would slip or fall while drinking water and would not be able to escape. Humans often took advantage of these locations. They would wait for animals to get trapped inside and then hunt them easily. So, it is possible that the Smilodon either slipped into the cave while chasing prey or fell in while drinking water. And when other animals fell in, it may have hunted and eaten them, which is why humans may have killed it to clear the path. But here, the Smilodon did not win, because this time humans had learned how to use weapons effectively and could take down their prey from a distance. The second case appears in the year 1913, when a canal was being dug in Vero Beach, Florida for drainage and irrigation. During excavation, workers began finding large bones deep underground. After that, Florida geologist and paleontologist Elias Howard Sellards was called in. He started a systematic excavation at the site. Sellards carefully studied the soil layers and divided the site into 3 major layers. In Stratum 1, he placed recent soil and modern animals. In Stratum 2, he identified the late Pleistocene layer. And in this section, human bones, Smilodon fatalis, direwolves, giant sloths, and mastodon remains were found together, all in the same undisturbed layer, meaning they belonged to the same time period and were not mixed later. Stratum 3 was the deepest and oldest geological layer. This layer was formed from ancient riverbeds and heavy sediment deposits. No human remains were found here, only very old broken animal fossils and natural sediments. This layer acts like a geological seal, proving that the remains found in Stratum 2 were not mixed from above or below. Because of this, scientists are confident that this site is temporally reliable and scientifically strong. For us, the most important layer was Stratum 2, where strong evidence showed that humans and Smilodon existed at the same time and in the same place. But when scientists examined the human bones, they found no bite marks, no claw marks, and no puncture wounds, meaning these humans were not killed by any animals, but died naturally. Then the question arises, how did they end up together at this location? To understand this, you need to know that during that time, the Vero Beach area was filled with rivers, swamps, and floodplains. Scientists believe that human bodies or bones were carried by water into this area and gradually buried by sediment. Now, some people may feel disappointed because they did not get to see clear evidence of Smilodon attacking humans here. But scientists have stated that there is a very high possibility that conflicts between them happen regularly, although they were not extremely dangerous for each other because humans lived in groups and Smilodon could not easily kill humans. The third case comes from the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles, California. This area has long been a graveyard for helpless animals. The La Brea tar pits are approximately 50,000 years old. Millions of years ago, small marine organisms died and were buried under the ground. Under pressure and heat, they slowly transformed into petroleum. Due to tectonic plate movement, cracks formed in the ground, and oil began seeping upward through those cracks. When the oil reached the surface, lighter components evaporated, leaving behind a thick, sticky substance called tar. This tar accumulated on the surface and formed tar pits. The La Brea tar pits cover an area roughly equal to about 20 football fields. So far, more than 3.5 million specimens and over 650 species have been discovered there, including Smilodon, direwolves, Columbian mammoths, and giant ground moths. Scientists explain that these pits were often covered by water, leaves, and soil, making them look like solid ground. When animals stepped onto them, they became trapped. Their distressed sounds attracted other predators, and the smell of carcasses attracted scavengers, which also became trapped. As a result, many animals died there from hunger and exhaustion. Now, the most special discovery here is that scientists found the skull of a young woman. But this woman did not die by getting trapped in tar. Dating revealed that she died about 9,000 years ago. Scientists found no typical struggle marks of tar entrapment on her bones, and no bite or claw marks from animals either. The truth is far more dangerous. This woman lived during the same time when Smilodon was still alive and likely near its final years. That is why many Smilodon fossils were also found in the same tar deposits. But this woman was not killed by a Smilodon. She was killed by another human from her own species. Blunt force trauma marks were found on her skull, clearly indicating that this was not an animal attack, but a human-caused injury. Another strange thing is that she did not die at this exact location. Her body likely arrived at the La Brea area later due to soil movement, erosion, or human activity, and became buried there. Here again, we see that Smilodon and humans lived very close to each other because their fossils were found within almost the same time range, which confirms that conflicts must have occurred between them. But even here, very strong direct evidence is still missing. But what I'm about to tell you next might finally convince you that humans and Smilodon had very frequent and very dangerous confrontations. And this brings us to our fourth case. In the early 19th century, in the Minas Gerais region of Brazil, a scientist was excavating among limestone caves. His name was Peter Wilhelm Lund. He expected to find remains of ancient animals, but what he discovered changed the way the world thinks. Inside these caves, Lund found bones of massive extinct animals, and within the same layers, human skulls were also present. The world knows this location as the Lagoa Santa Caves. Later scientific dating revealed that these human remains were approximately 10,000 to 12,000 years old. From the same time layers, fossils of a massive saber-tooth cat were also found, Smilodon populator, the largest and most powerful species. Scientists discovered that during that time, both humans and Smilodon shared the same water sources, roamed around the same hunting grounds, and sometimes may have even come face to face near the entrances of the same caves. But here, the story suddenly takes a turn. Despite all these discoveries, no human bones show tooth marks or claw marks from Smilodon, and no Smilodon bones showed cut marks made by human weapons. Scientists believe that conflicts between humans and Smilodon likely occurred mainly for only two reasons: either competition for cave shelters, because both preferred living in caves, or competition over prey. It is true that we still do not have solid proof yet, but there is a very high chance that in the future, we may discover clear evidence that a Smilodon killed a human. Just because we have not found proof yet does not mean conflicts or deaths never happened between them. Anyway, if something like this is discovered in the future, I will definitely tell you. And for that, make sure you subscribe to the channel.